Namaskar children, good morning. So I hope you remember the part we learned in the last class. So we started with the chromosomal theory of inheritance, right? And we saw these three scientists, that is D. Virus, Correns and von Terma. They independently rediscovered the Mendel's result, right? And also by this time, due to the development of microscopy, scientists were able to clearly observe the cell division, and this led to a discovery in the nucleus that appeared to double and divide just before each cell division, and they were called as the chromosomes. Okay, and as a colored body, as they visualized them by staining, they named it as chromosome. And by 1902, the chromosome movement during meiosis had been worked out. Right, so they found out they found out the chromosome, and they studied the meiosis process which happens in the chromosome, right? And so it was Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in 1902. They noted the behavior of the chromosome, and they told that it was very parallel to the behavior of the genes, and they used the chromosome movement to explain the Mendel's law, right? So Mendel told that it is some factors who get inherited from each generation, right? And now Sutton and Boveri, they studied the behavior of chromosome, and it was very parallel to that of the genes, right? So the chromosome was working very equal to the genes, and so using the chromosome movement, they explained the Mendel's law, right? And I hope you remember about the mitosis process, which is equational division, and also the meiosis process, which is reduction division, right? And the important thing here to know is the chromosomes as well as the genes will always occur in pairs, and the two alleles of a gene pair are located on homologous site on homologous chromosome, right? So two alleles of a gene pair are located on the homologous sites on homologous chromosome. So children, I hope you would have understood about the structure of chromosome and all. I hope you have studied in 11th standard, but you should know the difference between the sister chromatids and the homologous chromosome, right? So I'll just give a small explanation about that part, and then we'll move on to the next part, children. So from the name itself, we can understand it is homologous, means it will have the same pair of chromosome, which means that the genes which is present in the chromosome will be very similar in the case of homologous, right? Now what is the difference between sister chromatids and homologous pair of chromosome? So we know that chromosomes are acting as vehicles of heredity, and two identical chromosomes form a homologous pair, right? So we'll see what is homologous chromosome first. So we all know we have 23 pairs of chromosome, right? And in this 23 pairs of chromosome, we know half of the set of the chromosome we receive from our mother, and other half we receive from our father, right? So this is paternal, which is received from the father, and maternal is the chromosome which we receive from the mother, right? And we all know that when the cell division happens, we know that the process which happens during the cell division is the number of chromosome gets they are being made, copies are made from them, and it has to enter into the new cell, right? So what is this homologous chromosome? Homologous chromosome is nothing but when a gene which codes for the same characters are present at the same location of a pair of chromosome, we are calling them as homologous chromosome, right? You can see the example here, children. So you can see the presence of chromosome here. This chromosome is from mother and this is from father, right? So usually I hope you know how is the structure of chromosome. So chromosome will have a short arm and a tall arm, right? So a long arm also, right? A short arm will be there and also a long arm, right? And in center we see the centromere. So this is how the structure of chromosome will be. And if we are taking this as chromosome pair number 1, we know that it acts as pair, right? So this is one chromosome of the pair, and the other chromosome also will be like this, right? So this is the paired chromosome which we see in which is this is how the chromosome appear in the case of human beings, right? So they will have a short arm and a long arm, right? And what are the homologous pair of chromosome? Which means that when genes coding for a specific character is placed at the same location in the maternal and paternal chromosome is called as the homologous chromosome, right? Suppose if this is the gene which codes for the eye color, right? So think that it is coding for eye color. I am writing it as capital A and capital A. Just I am giving a representation using one alphabet. So when there is when we are able to find a gene placed in a pair of chromosome at the same location which codes for the same characteristic, we are calling them as homologous chromosome, right? ഇങ്ങനത്തെ chromosomes-നെയാണ് homologous chromosome എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So throughout the chromosome, each of the genes will be same in both the pair, right? So if suppose if this is a gene which codes for the color of hair color, so at the same location of the other chromosome or the pair also will have gene which codes for the hair color, right? So we know that genes will always occur in pair, right? അപ്പോൾ ഇതാണ് നമ്മൾ alleles എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So either this can be capital A and or this can be small a. It depends upon what we get from the parents, right? So it necessarily does not means that always it should be capital A. But homologous എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആ സെയിം ഗുണം ഐ കളറിനെയാണ് രണ്ട് ജീൻസും കോഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, right? So that is why it is called as homologous chromosome, right? This is what is homologous chromosome. Now I will say you what is sister chromatid, right? So you can see here two chromosomes have been combined together, right? So we can see the structure here, this one and this one, and same way here also this one and this one, and they have written it is from mother and it is from father, but we know that only half the set of information is reaching the offspring. Now what is the sister chromatid? So this sister chromatid is nothing but it is the exact replicate or copy of the single chromosome. Okay, അപ്പോൾ മദറിന് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ക്രോമോസോമിൻ്റെ എക്സാക്ട് കോപ്പീസ് ആണ് സിസ്റ്റർ ക്രോമോസോം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, റൈറ്റ്? സോ ദേ ആർ എക്സാക്ട് കോപ്പീസ് ഓഫ് ദിസ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ chromosome. One pair of chromosome in the exact copies are sister chromatids. And when do we find the sister chromatids? We are finding the sister chromatids when the cells start dividing, right? So or else the normal structure of the chromosome will be like this, but when a cell starts dividing, they form copies of themselves and we are calling them as sister chromatids, right? So why is it necessary? The new cell which has to be formed after cell division should have the information, right? That is why they are forming copies. Okay, so all the genes which is present at the same location, it is seen in the copied chromosome also, right? And that copied chromosome is called as the sister chromatid. So you can see from the maternal chromosome also they have made a copy, and same way from paternal chromosome also they have made a copy. So that is why chromosome structure is sometimes drawn in this way, like X-shaped, right? So it is the exact copy of the other one, right? But random identical ആയിരിക്കും. It means that sister chromatids will be identical because they are forming from this copy, right? So maternal gene അല്ലെങ്കിൽ paternal chromosome copy ആണ് sister chromatids എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So all the genes which is present in this chromosome will be placed here also. It is a copy, okay? A photocopy പോലെയാണ്. sister chromatids എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് photocopy പോലെയാണ്. അവരുടെ main chromosome copy, exact copy, right? So after cell division they get separated and they enter into the germ cell in the case of meiosis process, okay? So this is how the sister chromatid is. You can see the difference here, children. So this is the gene which is coding for eye color. But രണ്ട് സ്ഥലത്തും same ആയിരിക്കും because it is a copy, right? And same way here in the paternal chromosome also we see the gene which is coding for the eye color, right? And they are homologous because they are pair of homologous chromosome because the gene which is coding for the eye color is present at the same location. രണ്ട് chromosomeലും same locationലാണ് ഉള്ളത്. And same way this is the gene which codes for the enzyme A, and same way in other chromosome also at the same location we are able to find a gene which is coding for enzyme A. And same way here too, genes which is coding for cytochrome and same way in this paternal chromosome also we see the gene which is coding for cytochrome, right? So that is why it is called as homologous pair of chromosome. Homologous pair of chromosome എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് when genes of the same characters are present in a exact location in a chromosome, it is called as homologous pair of chromosome. You can see the sister chromatids of paternal chromosome and also sister chromatids of maternal chromosome. So I hope you are clear with the difference between sister and the homologous chromosome, children. So here there is a representation of the meiosis process, children. This meiosis process shows how the germ cell is formed with the example of 4 chromosome. 4 chromosome മാത്രം എടുത്ത് അതിൽ meiosis process they have just represented, right? So you can see here G1 phase, G2 phase, we can see the presence of, in G1 phase we can see the presence of chromosome, and here it forms exact copies of itself, which means that it forms the sister chromatid, right? So yellow, orange, red and green are chromosomes. They are representing the chromosome, and you can see the sister chromatids formed in G2 phase, and then the cell will enter the mitosis process, and we know that in the anaphase portion, anaphase part of the meiosis 1, we know that these sister chromatids will get separated, and what will happen? They will enter into the germ cells, right? So it passes through meiosis 2 process also, and then it moves on to form the germ cells, right? So in meiosis 1, prophase is seen, metaphase is seen, anaphase and telophase is seen. Same way, all these 4 phases are seen in meiosis 2 also, and then it gives rise to 4 haploid set of chromosome, right? So you can see here, after meiosis 1, it produces two daughter cells, and these daughter cells again carries out meiosis 2 process, and they separate out to form haploid number of chromosomes, that is 4 haploid chromosome. And you can see how the chromosome is moving towards the equatorial plate, and it will be aligned there, and then it is getting divided to form the germ cells, right? So this happens in anaphase 2. Okay, and we can see the 4 haploid germ cells here, right? You can see the representation of chromosome also here. This is metaphase 1, and you can see the metaphase 2 and the gamete formation, right? So they have represented it with the 4 chromosome. Okay, in textbook they have given this diagram. This is the representation of the segregation of chromosome during meiosis process, right? And then we learned about the difference between the gene and chromosome also. Now let us see how the independent assortment is working out with the help of the meiosis process, right? So here we are taking a representation of the meiosis process using the 4 chromosome which we saw to study about the meiosis 1. So we'll see how the law of independent assortment works using this meiosis process. So we know that chromosomes, as we know, it is a vehicle of heredity, and 2 identical chromosomes form a homologous pair, and homologous pair will separate out during gamete formation. That is what was the law of independent assortment. So the genes get separated, or the factors get segregated during gamete formation, and they form independent pairs, or the independent pairs will segregate independently, right? So we'll see how this process happens in the meiosis. Here we have taken representation of 4 chromosome again, but we have shown 2 possibilities of this, right? So this is one possibility of the meiosis process, and this is the other possibility of the meiosis process. You can see it here. The left column we are able to find the orange chromosome. It combines with the green chromosome. It means that it works together there and segregate together. And same way in the right column you are able to see the orange is segregating with the red chromosome, right? So here it is orange with green chromosome and yellow with red chromosome, and here it is orange with red chromosome and yellow with green chromosome. These are the possible segregations in the independent assortment. That is why they have shown it with the color representation, right? So this is in the anaphase 1 process. As we all know, metaphase is the it is a phase where the microtubules are formed and the chromosomes are aligned at the equatorial plate, right?